And we are live.
Okay, we're just looking at. Oh, there we are. I see myself. I'm going to send an email to everyone on the KMIKM mailing list, letting them know that we are launching Build Week. And I got to turn this one off because I can hear myself. Um, yeah, so we're going to go through all of the features that have been collected and recorded, and ideas and bugs and mistakes and everything. And we're going to pick what we're going to work on for the next, what would we say, 4 days,
Mm-hmm.
5 days?
Through Monday.
And see what we can crank through. Obviously, we'll have to prioritize, as we called it, some of the boring stuff that that isn't the exciting new features.
Technical debt.
But yeah, that always happens with an annual update. Aaron has to remember all of how everything works on KMIKM before we can really dig back in. Um, but yeah, I've added pretty much everything we've talked about to Change Map, and I was playing with some other tools, but I think we'll just keep using Change Map. I think it's the most like simple presentation of all that stuff. So, do you want to pull that
Yeah, send me the link. I don't
sheet
remember
up?
where it is.
Oh yeah, it is Change Map.
Oh, I found it in Slack.
changemap.co/KMIKM/KMIKM.
Great.
I don't know why there's two. Oh, I think it's because it's the KMIKM organization and the KMIKM project. I think that's why there's two. Um,
Yeah.
so if we scroll all the way down to kind of in progress and planned, in progress was that's one that we have talked about bringing back for a long time, which is to bring back the trading fees. There was a vote about that. I have to look up because there was this idea that we would share the fees with the people offering the trades as a way to incentivize trades
Yeah.
for market makers. So that's something we should revisit. We don't have to get into all of it right now, but if you open that one up, it does have a link back to that question, which was question 54. Um, and so,
Wait, 2013 was. Oh, that was the. Oh my God. That was a long time ago.
yeah, this has been one that we've just been sitting on for a while. But we paused it for a while and then we brought it back. And the idea here is just to offset some of the costs of the processing of the deposits as well.
Right. Yeah.
So that's a. I feel like while that one is mandated by shareholder vote, it's also kind of a lower priority one in that it's nothing is. It would be fun to if we could add it the incentive to people trading in order to be able to get some of that money.
Yeah. It
But
is also, unfortunately, one of the most complicated.
yeah, okay. Um,
Anything touching that code is complicated.
and presumably dangerous
Yes.
if you mess it up. Yeah. So yeah, let's go kind of backwards from there and take a look at the ones that I've added to planned, and see if there's any of these that we either seem. Well, here, let me actually edit that one of in progress, and I'll put it back to. Let's see. The one thing that this has is it doesn't have a great prioritization
Mm.
system, but what I'll do is anything that we definitely decide to do, I'll move to planned, and anything else I'll move to in progress for build week. Um, so there, now that is no longer in progress. So yeah, so let's look at the ones that are planned and see which one of these we can move to definitely working on this week. I think the two that you mentioned in terms of maintenance are at the bottom of planned. If you open up the view all 8 plans there, with the little factory icon,
Yeah.
um, And so I'll move both of those to planned.
Yeah, the this bottom one is hilarious. Every about 2 or 3 months, the site goes down because the hard drive filled up, and for some reason the setting to turn off logging does not work. So we have to figure that out. This one upgrading to PHP 8.1, I put it in there because if the longer we put off these kinds of upgrades, the worse it gets down the road, and also, if we are adding any new things, sometimes they require packages that only work in newer versions also.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to avoid just getting stuck back in the older versions of things. So
Is there a sense, do you think anything will break via that upgrade, or do you think that's just something to be like aware of?
it is going to be basically upgrade, switch to the new PHP, try to install everything, see what breaks. Probably there'll be some packages that need to get updated also, which then may have changes that need to be made for the new versions of the packages.
Okay.
But the voting site isn't so huge that it should be manageable.
Yep. Okay. Great. These other ones, the ones that have received, or I guess the non-expiration votes or the policy votes, I guess as I called it, I'll rename that really quick. I called it something different in the email. Policy votes is this idea of things about my life that might change, such as if I believe in ghosts or how I feel about crypto or psychedelics or anything like that. And the idea is to kind of create a system where as shareholders change their views and as new shareholders come in, those policies kind of adapt in real time. So that's my like kind of big sort of fantasy new feature.
Yeah, I like it. It's really mostly just the idea of not having the vote expire, because right now, as the vote progresses, you do see like what is the current winning option, by how much, and all that, right? And then as people buy and sell shares, while it's in progress, it already does update. So
the other one change is, even as an admin and editor, I can't add and subtract options from a live vote.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
So that would be an additional thing to add to this, so that as something is kind of going on, if there's something new comes in, or something is clearly like let's say it's about social media and Twitter disappears,
Right.
You can just remove that option, kind of thing. So there'll be some other notes there.
That's gonna be full of edge cases.
Yeah, I'm gonna add.
Like, what do you do when you remove an option that has a bunch of votes?
Yeah.
We'll have to think.
Well, people can multiple vote.
So right, they already can. So
yeah, so it would just be like, it should just be like unchecking that one.
It might actually be pretty simple. Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna add admin function to edit.
Yep.
Vote options. Just as a reminder for that one. Okay, and then bring back the trading fees. I just added back there to that list. Oh, and then this bottom one of extending the leaderboard. If you look right now at the leaderboard, there's the big graph, and then there's the 2 columns of most shares and greatest total investment. Greatest total investment made kind of like more sense when people were holding cash, and it was this idea of like the cash you have plus the shares you own times the share price. And I feel like we can just get rid of that and double the length of the leaderboard.
Okay.
I think the main thing here is like how many total people have shares. And then one other graph thought I had is up at the top on that pie chart. If there could be maybe 2 pie charts, one is this one of the top shareholders. Maybe we extend that to a couple more as well, since that's only the top 10 right now. But then a graphical representation of that text that we have, which shows that there's just about 20,000 shares out in the market. Yeah, So if there was two pie graphs there to kind of show, hey, here's the total shares and the ones that have been released, and then here's who owns all of them.
So the total would be 100,000 around, and you'd see 20%
Yep.
right now slice.
Yeah, or 19,666. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Add graph of total shares released. Just add that as a comment. Okay, and then let's see. These other so the other planned options, all of these are the three bottom ones there have like +1 vote, offer notification, send an email when offers are old, send an email to everyone the vote has ended. Those are all notification things that people have brought up. But then that top one is add an abstain option to voting. I think this would be as simple as, like, right now the default options when I create a new vote are just yes and no, and then I can add more. But if it was just yes, if we just defaulted to yes, no, and abstain, a more complicated version would be if you click abstain, you can't vote for any of the other options. But I don't think we need to do that. I think we can just treat it like a regular option in the simplest form.
Is it if it's treated as a regular option, then it has the possibility of winning?
Oh, interesting. I mean, I think what that does is that creates the idea, kind of creates this loose idea of the idea of quorum, where, like, if abstain wins, the vote is sort of declared null
Yeah.
or void, which is potentially interesting.
It is interesting. Maybe that's okay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate that idea. It kind of like, I think a lot of times people vote no on things because they want things to be reworded or changed.
Yep.
So that's actually an interesting idea. Is like, now a vote can either pass, fail, or kind of be declared null. We'll have to figure out what that language is.
Yeah. Okay. So it's really just adding a default option because you can just make this anytime in a vote already.
Yeah, exactly. But making it a default option would just
Yeah.
make it the easiest.
Okay.
Yep, that it's always there.
Yep.
Okay, and then yeah, I think all these notifications are useful and interesting, and we can kind of visit those as we figure out what we want for a notification system. One thing I worry about is just the frequency of notifications overall. So I think looking at these sort of collectively, it's like.
You mean you don't want to send too many?
To one person, right? And it's like, and I think we talked about this at one point a long time ago. Of like, is there a way of like potentially batching these, or is there kind of like one email with all whatever alerts that involve you that go out a day or something like that?
Well,
again,
one way to do it is basically have it so that every one time a day, it decides for every user what to put into an email. So it's more like a newsletter rather than a notification.
Yep.
So notifications are useful if it's like immediately actionable, which would be depending on the trading volume. Like someone just outbid you, someone just stole your top bid, right? Which could be useful as a real-time thing. But a vote ended or offers that are 30 days old are not immediately actionable, so they don't need to go out right when they happen, and they could be more of like it's more like your KMIKM digest.
Right. Exactly. Yep. These new votes are up, or this is what's ending, or this is the status of anything that's changed. Yeah.
Personalized for whatever you've done, right? So for each user, it may not send one every day, of course, but it would be like if you're going to send something to that user, we batch it up and just have it come out in the morning or something.
Yep. Okay. I like that. For
what's offer notification?
Offer notification is when offers are taken. So if you put an offer up,
it's like how the
buy or
tweets
sell
happen right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Because sometimes I think people come back and they don't know. There's no like indication unless they go to their specific page to see that a transaction has happened.
Oh, look, I commented on this a while ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if
Well, there you go.
you
Daily-
don't
Yeah,
have
it's
any
like-
open offers anymore, then you get an email.
Right, because that's an action
That's
that you
an
might
action,
want to
yep.
do immediately. Yep. Yep.
Someone just bought all of your offers and they're on a buying spree, and you want to go back in and add some. So, but if someone buys 10 of your 20 offered shares, you still have 10 left. So you get an email at the end of the
It
day.
just. Yep. Yeah. Or next morning. or
So
whatever it is, yeah.
we'll split that into two different tasks, because the daily summary of your offers that were accepted should go into that sort of digest, that newsletter. Right.
Right.
And then the other one is a totally different type of notification.
Daily digest versus I'll call those active alerts, and I'll
Yeah.
figure out how to. We'll sort of divide up what those things are as we look at these.
Yeah.
Okay, so then if we back up to Mikey likes it on the sidebar, we don't have to look at the rejected ones. So there's, let's see. I mean, mobile view is obviously, that feels like a big one.
Yeah, it is really hard. It is really hard to use on the phone.
And I know that we looked at this. We also looked at this a while ago, using some kind of existing framework for the design layout, and using something. But it is this feels like one of those like bigger maintenance issues. It's like a lot of work, and then what you get is a mobile view, which isn't bad, but it's a lot of design work.
Yeah, the voting site should be mostly usable on mobile already, but the main site definitely is not. So the other way that I've been thinking about this problem is, one of the reasons we moved the voting into its own site was to be able to do stuff in it faster and not have the 12-year-old legacy Rails code to deal with. And if we keep going that route, obviously moving the trading engine into something else is the next step there, which is obviously a huge project. But that's the question: is the time spent filling with CSS on the current site worth it, or is it better spent actually replacing the trading engine?
Ooh, that's a big question.
Yeah.
If we were going to do 2 build weeks in 1 year, then I would say rebuild. If we're not, then I would say push it. Because, again, like it's not great, but it's not broken.
It's not broken.
That's sort of my feeling.
But it is, there are a lot of things that you've wanted to change about how trading works that would be very difficult to do in the current system.
Yep. All right, well, let's see. I'm going to put that as just a little note to myself is, how would you label that in terms of, is that because that's like moving off of the, like basically rebuild
the trading engine.
Yeah, rebuild trading engine versus update CSS. And we'll see how often that comes back as we look at these other features, just as like, would that make things like trading fees and things like that easier?
Yeah, that's the idea, is like we can build it with all those things in mind instead of trying to retrofit them into this.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, what's next? Oh yeah, dividends feature.
Speaking of,
this is like, this isn't even the trading engine necessarily.
No, I guess it's not. Yeah.
Yeah, this is just an idea of like, if I have $500 that I want to split up among the shareholders, I sort of imagine this as an admin user, like I type it in on the admin side and say, okay, here's my $500 dividend, and it figures out how many cents to send everyone.
I feel like we should prioritize features that make you money instead of make you give away money.
It's true. It's true. I feel like that's a little bit of a fantasy idea that I also like.
You that the dividends feature doesn't
I'm not
sound
in a
terribly hard to do, but I also feel like
I'm not
you
in a
would
position where I need to give dividends right now either. So
exactly you would need to have a this needs to be creating its own money that would be the source of the dividends
yeah,
first.
exactly.
Like for example, if the trading fees suddenly started racking up a bunch of profit for the business, then dividends, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Which
Okay,
actually
so
sounds like fun. That would be very cool.
that is fun. Let's hold off on that then for now, and let's look at revisit vasectomy is still that's just a vote.
That's just a vote.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Streamlined onboarding is it's more around the whole design. It's just like it's too big of a chunk. It's just like the process right now of coming in to KIM-IPM is still. I feel like that's something for me to think about in terms of I don't know exactly the right way to do it yet, so it's not a very good.
Okay.
Order matching is like automatic pairing, right?
This one I feel like is useful. It happens a lot where someone comes in and puts in a buy offer that's worse than an existing sell offer, right? And then someone notices and goes and sells them that share, but they could have bought a share cheaper.
Yeah. The that feels like it fits under trading engine changes.
It is a trading engine change, and this is one of those things that like
we could avoid the problem with an alert that says, like, hey, you're making it.
Even just before the trade is made, right? Like
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like
if I go, offer, what is it? How does it happen? It's when someone makes
if you were gonna right now, if you were gonna make a sell offer that was higher than the buy price, right? If you were willing to sell a share.
If I'm willing to sell a share for less than 680, that's what it is. So if I type in 650, there's no point in me making this sell offer because I can sell shares at 680 right now.
Yeah, and vice versa.
And vice versa. Side, I should not be able to make a buy offer that is higher than this, right?
Not able is interesting. I kind of feel like you should be able because I don't. But you should maybe get just a warning. Like, are you sure?
So we could just do it in JavaScript because that's a good way to make it a warning but not actually enforce it. Because like right now, as I do this, it's telling me a preview of what's going to happen, right? And that's all just client side. So we can do the same thing down here of like, it can pop up a message that says, are you sure you want to make this buy offer? Because you could just go buy that share for less right now.
Yep.
Right.
That's funny. I actually have this as a note, what we're talking about from 2018 in this same one. Mikey likes it.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm gonna move this to.
Okay. Let's do it as a notice.
Yep.
Pop-up notice.
We'll put this in progress, and I'm gonna say I'm gonna rename the title. Set alert if order is under trading price. We'll know what that means. Okay. Ongoing of investment account. That's trading engine stuff. That's complicated. We're not going to deal with that one.
Ongoing investment
account. That's like dollar cost averaging with automated payments. I don't think there's a high demand for that. I think people were kind of just interested in it.
I mean, I'm also interested in finding ways for people to continue to deposit money into the system for your sake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm going to put that also under kind of like trading engine.
So this would be doable, but being able to actually deposit money on a regular basis requires a payment processor that can do that. So, for example, Stripe.
Right.
Stripe subscription would be great for that.
I mean, we're basically already. I mean, Gumroad goes through Stripe. We just sort of have this weird middleman account, and it just got more expensive. Gumroad did.
Wait,
So
Gumroad goes through
looking
Stripe?
Yeah. Gumroad uses Stripe as a payment processor.
You don't see that, right?
I see that as the admin, but the user doesn't see it.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. I feel like that ongoing investment account is what we're talking about is actually like a different way to do deposits, which I do think, I feel like is in here somewhere, or should be, because that's also a big kind of issue. But the ongoing investment account, I think we can move off of.
Okay.
The redesign of profile page, I think, is also kind of I think there's just kind of a stripped down version of this where you get this big long list and there's some information. I don't know. There's just like this huge long list.
That is a very long list.
And it's maybe you can just export that as a CSV if you want it, and it doesn't have to be there. Or
it does not need to show all history ever.
It's fun to have. Since it's in the system, but yeah, exactly. I don't think it needs to show it. And it could be something too where I feel like what I see versus what you see. I think if I go to your account or if you go to a different account, you also see a list of their completed transactions, which I also don't think you need to see.
Oh, really?
That information can just be theirs.
Okay.
So, there's just some making it a little bit tighter here, I think. But again, I don't think it's not harming anything right now. So this feels like a lower priority one.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Douglas Dollars has some questions in the chat.
Oh, nice.
Would this also cover fractional shares? Ongoing investment account. Oh, right.
Oh, your audio is coming through a little garbled.
That's probably just on the headphones.
Oh, okay.
My stupid AirPods. Mike's comment clarified this is more for auto deposit and not auto buy. So yeah, that is a good question. If you did have a $15 a month deposit, then it would buy as many shares as outstanding offers to spend $15, but it would keep some cash, obviously as cash. The next month,
whatever
it would add $15 and buy as many as it could. Right. I mean, that's a cool idea.
I mean,
I like it.
I like that idea. It makes investment both passive for the user and more active for the system. So it is, it's interesting. It could be something you set with a one-time deposit too, deposit if you want to do $20 a month, or $200 for the year, whatever it is, and then it just actively does it once per month.
Oh, so instead of buying, actually, that's a really good point. Because people often will drop in $500 and then buy a bunch, but sometimes, if you look, sometimes by the time you get to $500, you end up buying really expensive shares.
Exactly.
And instead, if
you're buying
you split
100 shares
you split it up into a bunch of smaller buys over time.
Yeah, that'd be $41, $42 a month. That would be, you'd probably get a way better price over the year.
You would, yeah. So it would buy 5 right now at an average share price of $7.89 instead of average share price of $9 or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then you do it again. And that does not have to change anything with the payment processor, which is nice.
Bye, guys. Do you want to say hi real quick?
Sure.
Catherine's going to go on a bike ride with
nice.
Georgie in a backpack.
Hi.
Cute. Hi.
Bye, George.
Here we go.
Bye, Catherine. I always, anytime there's a dog in a backpack, you got to put it on the street.
Absolutely.
Yeah, actually, that's more interesting because that does actually solve a little bit of a problem
Yeah, and
because
doesn't
we operate with a low volume
yep,
trading system.
and doesn't touch the payment processing side of it, which is easier.
I'm gonna add a comment here
So
to
really, it would be like it's a whole new way of creating offers, right? So instead of creating a sell offer, it's or a buy offer, I guess. It's not making an offer; it's scheduling a buy.
right. That's a good phrase. And then schedule
And then, should you be able to set a limit on the share price, for
this
example?
deposit fund and then schedule buys over some number of months. Oh, like don't yeah. Then you get into kind of like limit offers and things like don't do it if it's higher than this or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I think if people know that that's coming, it'll also it'll help because it'll cause if you know that like someone's buying or a couple people are buying up to like 10 or 15 shares, let's say at the beginning of every month. There's also a incentive now to front load the lowest price you're willing to let shares go at.
Yeah.
So there's sort of like by knowing that that's coming, they're also guaranteeing like a good price.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. And then the question would be: is it what is the interval something that the user can choose, or is it always fixed? And if it is always fixed, is it like at the beginning of the month, or is it every 30 days from when they create the offer, or all those questions, right? So is it
I
like
think making it as simple. Let's see. I think there's an argument to be made to allow the user to decide and kind of mask it, and there's an argument to be made to just have it be upfront and transparent, like it always happens on this day. I think for our purposes, because of low trading volume, I think it makes most. It feels like it makes more sense to just have it be it's the first of the month always.
That's kind of a fun idea because then everybody would know that, oh, the buys are coming out tomorrow.
Yep.
Get your offers up. And then the first hits, it goes through and makes all the purchases. Ooh, how do you prioritize? How do you prioritize those? Let's say 5 people have $100.
Whoever, I think you just do it by who started their automated, like in the same way that we say the offer of the same price, it's like whoever made the offer first gets priority. Right now,
Okay.
like if you and I are both selling a share for $7.89 and I made mine first,
Yeah.
I mine gets sold first. So this is like the reverse of that. It's like if I scheduled mine 9 months ago and you just scheduled yours, 2 months
Okay.
ago, mine get filled first.
The older scheduled buys get filled first. And then do you fill all of one person's buys first, or do you round robin it?
Ooh. That's a good question. What feels more fair? Is this like a
Let's say that I have $15 a month. Is it as an example, right? Because that was what the person suggested. If I've set up auto buys for $15 a month 4 months ago, right now I would get to buy one share, right? Because 15.70. Okay, let's do $16 a month as an example.
Yep.
I would be able to buy 2 shares right now if all of mine were filled first. If we round robined it, then it may be the case that all the $7.89 offers are taken by the time it gets back to me, and I would not be able to buy the next share because I don't have enough money now, right? Because it may tip it.
Yep. I think prioritizing the person who made the offer first. I think that person who the first person to make the offer gets filled first. So there's a real advantage there.
Yeah, so that means there's an advantage to to committing to your buy offers for over the long term.
Right. And as long as there's funds in your account, it will continue.
Yeah.
So you don't have to schedule it for a certain time. It's just an on or off switch.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that money in your account,
You just miss out.
you get turned off. And if you turn back on, now you're at the back of the line.
Ooh. Okay. It just ends. It ends your subscription.
Yep. Until you turn it back on again, and then you're in the back.
So this is another one of those notifications that goes into the digest of like, oh, your funds are running low. This is a good one, but it's a little complicated.
Yeah. Until user turns off or not enough funds in account, and then schedule all the buys at beginning of month to create demand. And yeah, I don't know if that's the kind. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna move this one not to in progress, but just to planned.
Yeah.
And because I feel like it's like it might be a little bit big, but I do really like what this does. I won't move it to in progress.
Okay.
All right. So let's go back to our list. That was. So yeah, oh, and then I guess the next one would be the K5M API, which I feel like we can ignore for now.
I also think that most of this actually exists already.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just because it's a Rails app. So let's see. Public endpoints, order book, and trade history. So order book that's the offers, right?
Yeah.
So we just do offers.json. No, it didn't work. I know some of these exist. Let's see. Trade history. Where is that? Completed trades. No, I know some of these exist. Okay, how about profile pages? I may be forgetting how to find it, but I'm pretty sure most of the read-only ones exist already.
Yep.
Doing the trade operations, it may already exist, but there's no way for people to get a token to use. So that would be the thing to add. Would be how do you get the token to do that? But I'm pretty sure it's basically the same thing that this form submits to. You can do if you can get a token somehow.
Okay. Token. All right, we'll revisit that as we dive into it and investigate it.
I agree. It does not seem high priority though, because the number of people who would take advantage of that is going to be pretty small.
Yeah, it might create some fun, like people doing algorithmic trading, but yeah.
It could be really cool, but yeah.
I don't know if I have this in here, so I'll just bring it up. But what are your thoughts on fractional share ownership?
It's either not even a problem at all, and it's just a matter of like changing the internal database columns, or it's completely impossible.
Okay, just curious.
Yeah.
In relation to automatic buying,
yeah,
it would potentially make things simpler in that regard, because it would allow for partial shares to be sold. And to me, it's like in my regular like goofing around trading, I'm allowed to do that in most stocks, and I'm like, it doesn't matter to me. It's kind of nice to have an even dollar amount of shares sometimes, and so in terms of like someone owning percentage shares, it doesn't seem like it messes with anything voting wise or changes anything other than just adding decimal points. So
yeah, like I said, it might be not a big deal at all. It might just sort of as long as the form allows me to do that, interesting. It did actually. What did it do? Oh, it's funny. It is doing the math properly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And then it's just, you want to throw it up on screen?
Oh, um, if I buy one share, it's $7.89. If I buy two shares, it's $15.78. If I buy 1.5, it's giving me the dollar amount in the middle. It's going to error as soon as I press the button, but the this part is already doing the calculations, allowing the calculations for fractional.
Yeah.
Would you be able to create fractional offers? That seems like more confusing.
It feels like you could, but it's like, why? I mean, well, I mean, I guess you kind of have to, because you'd then own fractional shares. If you wanted to completely sell all of your shares, you would need to be able to sell fractional amounts.
Yeah, it might just work.
Okay.
How important is that? Because we could spend some time on the dev site of like changing all the database columns to allow floats, and then just like see what happens, right?
I think it's a. I'm gonna pin it for a second. I think it's like, it's interesting to me in that it like would help eliminate just some of the like the way that people end up with like $2.18 after they do a deposit. They could just spend all of it, which is like actually what they want to do.
Right.
Like when they make a deposit, they want to spend all that on shares.
Yeah.
And so sometimes they end up with those little remainders that they can't. So
okay, how about this as a proposal? We try it on the dev site, and if it just sort of falls into place and there really wasn't any stuff to sort out for it, we do it. And if it turns out that it's going to take like a whole overhaul of stuff, then we just scrap it.
That sounds great.
Okay.
Yep. I'll write that one up and add it to in progress. All right, so back to the Mikey likes it list. Oh yeah, create account button on the main page. This kind of goes into like kind of the easy onboarding.
Oh yeah,
when you're
what does that even?
Kind of stuff. It's very small and up in the corner right now. It's like,
okay.
There's another one in here somewhere that is basically that main image right there. If we made that main image something that I could edit on the admin page, like I could upload new images to it, and maybe even add a button or actionable, section to it, then that would kind of solve some of these. I could like, if there's a big post coming up or the shareholder conference, or it's time to like take an action for all the shareholders, if I could update that main image.
I think that was the idea with this little section, but it's very small.
Yeah, that section's great, and I update it, frequently, which is nice. But being able to like the tout, as Panic used to call it, up there at the top would be a nice thing to be able to easily change, and it would be nice to, again, we start getting into a whole like redesign a front page conversation, which feels bigger, and it's also like arguably not a terrible idea, but yeah. I think for now the create account button on main page is not something to prioritize. I would like, going back to the list, I would like to have a welcome email when people create an account. I have a kind of draft of this that I've sent out manually, or I've done it like when people buy shares via Gumroad or something like that, but just having it be a new account is created, they get an email that just says, here's where everything is. If you want to subscribe to the mailing list, here's where you can go cast some votes, especially if there's constant votes coming up. Here's a place you can instantly go vote, that kind of thing. Does that seem, what's the difficulty level of a?
I think, especially if we're already touching this idea of the digest emails, it seems like it's a small thing to add on top of that. I'm pretty sure that this site does not send any emails itself right now. Is that correct?
I believe that's true. Voting does, but
because there's not even like a password reset email, right?
There is a password reset email.
Oh.
Or no, wait, what does it do when you reset? Yeah, there is. We did do that.
Okay, then in that case, any email related stuff will be already simpler if it's already sending email. So then
Okay.
that means that's the hard part, is just setting all that up and getting it tied into the sending email provider or whatever. But if that's already there, then
I'm gonna add this to in progress then, and I will have to work on a draft of a welcome email. That's exciting. That makes it easy. Oh yeah, and then this is another. This last one here is a bit of a fantasy of mine, which is a buy now button, which is to somehow allow a new user or to just buy shares with a credit card and not have to go through the deposit aspect. But again, I think you're talking about, we're talking about a Stripe account at that point, as opposed to a third-party service.
The Gumroad deposits usually come in automatically.
Yeah, the only time they don't is if the emails don't line up, and we have a nice system in there where I can check and manually fix that if it doesn't work.
Right.
It's just some extra steps that is confusing for people. But
I'm trying to think if there's a way to do it with Gumroad. Because because it is already tied in, and if it does find the matching email, at that point it could go buy the shares. It could go accept offers.
Oh, right. Because once the amount has been in there.
Yeah, I don't want to show the emails on the screen because it's like everybody's emails. But let me go take a look really quick.
Could this be done?
So, yeah, view deposit history. Because basically, when you're looking at that admin list, I wish I had a way to like blur part of my screen. Actually, it looks like most of the recent ones have all worked.
Yeah, it's pretty rare, and I usually someone will email me right away when it doesn't work.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, because what happens is basically Gumroad sends a webhook when a deposit is made to this website, and then it's like, here's info about the purchase that was just made, including the person's email. And if it finds the email in the user database, it adds that money to their account right then, right? So it's showing up on their account already at that point. And that is where we could also then have it go and accept as many shares as it can, or offers as it can.
Right. So it would almost just be like a different product offering on Gumroad. It'd be like buy now.
Oh,
buy shares
right,
now.
yeah. Instead of deposit. Yep. So if we go back to, what does this look like? Okay, so yeah, you punch in whatever number you want here. So yeah, it could just be a different, where's your Gumroad page? Right, so you make a separate listing.
Yep.
And that would tell the site that they want to actually make a purchase of any offers available. And what it would do is, if they put in $10 in Gumroad, it would put $10 in their account and then buy one share. It would accept the top one offer, run out of money, and then leave the $3 in their account.
Or if we get fractional.
Or if we get fractional shares, then it can buy.
Yeah. Okay. I'm okay with that. Okay, I'm gonna move this to planned, and then I'll do a little bit of the work on thinking through on my end on the Gumroad side and that kind of stuff.
Okay. I think it's doable.
Cool.
Yeah, because just looking at the list
I'll throw it in progress then.
Do it. Looking at the list of the deposit history, 2 out of the last, what is this, like 20, didn't have an account, a matching account.
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad.
Yeah, and usually some of those 2 are people that know ahead of time because their Gumroad account is something different, so they'll even tell me ahead of time. So yeah, it's hasn't been a huge problem.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, now let's go to, I think the most are in suggestions. I think there's quite a few in here, but there's many that we can ignore. So Like we want to explore more interfaces for crowd wisdom, support crypto deposits. Um, this one
What
is
is
sort of
this?
let's see, the replace those marked with proper curly quotes. It must, maybe it's when I post in the that might have been related to the old questions that I posted. The former voting before we had the Ouija style.
They're not on here anymore, right?
If you go to vote and then there's a link from vote.
That just goes
the
out to here.
But that tiny little link right there at the
Oh,
yeah. So I think this one didn't use the proper curly quotes. But finding an instance of that might be.
here's a regular one. Here's a curly one. Is it just in the question text?
I copied this from somewhere with somebody else's recommendation.
Okay.
And, at this point it's 3 years old. I'm just gonna go ahead and mark this as resolved since it's not a problem in the current system. So we're gonna say that that's completed. Good job. We've completed our first one.
Someone just bought a share.
Oh. That wasn't you accidentally with you?
Wasn't me. Look at that, 3 minutes ago.
Nice. It's because they're getting excited about all these coming changes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, here we go. Here's change main website image. Here's that feature.
Yep.
What do you think about this?
The big thing in here is file uploads are just a pain in the butt to work with. I don't. What if
there's not? I don't think there's a place to do. Everything is dynamic. Even people's user images aren't uploaded right now.
Right, they're just like hot linked, right? Which is probably why mine is broken.
Yeah, it's probably like your old Twitter or something.
Oh, I deleted that file. That's right. I was cleaning up my server. So the where else do you have a way to upload images? Because if it's just a form field for a URL, that would be fine. Oh, weird question. I just don't want to deal with image uploading in the Rails app.
Did you see that?
Yeah, this is confusing. So
I noticed that the other day.
We need to fix that. This is a good maintenance task. What it does is it iframes in
right
the header from the Ruby site.
And for some reason that stopped working.
But
I'll log that.
Yeah, I don't understand why it stopped working. Anyway, what I wanted to do was. Oh, that's bad. Logging into the voting site doesn't work.
Oh.
Did you know that?
I didn't know that, but am I not logged? I'm logged in.
You might just be logged in because you've been logged in for a long time. But I can't log in. So let's fix that.
Okay.
That's important.
Yep. Okay, this is going to be a bug.
What I was getting at was, what if, since there is image uploading code in the voting site and like resizing and all that, because that's how you make these images, what if I added the thing in the voting site for you to upload an image, and it would just go into like a page of images, and then it would give you a URL you could put into this part.
Oh, right, because there's already image uploading. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then those two things already have. Yeah. Yep. That works great.
Okay.
The other really amazing feature here would be either the not as good version is the whole image is a link. The better version is I can enter text and it sort of does like an overlay, like is on there now, or a button button or something that is a link. That would be the optimal version.
The
Um,
easy version of that is just the entire image is clickable, and then you just make a
Yep.
graphic in Photoshop.
Yep. Yeah, that's fine. If easy version is good. So on change main website image, I'm going to add a note to say set up an upload in Votes app, and then use URL in KMyPM
It's a funny
admin page
roundabout way to do it, but it'll
and
quicker for me.
add a link for whole image. Great. And I'll move that to. I feel like that'll make the site just feel a little more dynamic too if I can change that every once in a while
Yep.
with things. Progress, save. All right. All right, what's next? Oh yeah, P2P shares money transfer, allowing people to move their shares and money between users. I think we can just let's not deal with this one.
There's I mean, it's doable, but it's like there's gonna have to be a lot of like workflow stuff, right? Of like I start a request, the other person has to like approve it, notifications all around.
Yeah, basically a Venmo feature within KMyPM. Yeah, which is fun. But yeah, oh yeah, this next one is also I don't think something we're gonna do, but I have this fantasy that there's a version of money that is maybe not that is like separate from dollars that can be used to buy shares. Anyway, let's ignore this one. It's not a well thought out idea.
I want to get to the point of something like this because keeping money in the system means that the business has a potential to be profitable.
Yep, agreed. And the way it's structured now is very strange. And so, but I do think this is a let's punt this one for a while. It requires more thinking.
Okay.
But I do think that it starts to kind of gamify the system a little bit. You know, like you're putting money in, and what you're getting is like this kind of like in-game currency that you can then use to buy shares. And then how do you potentially cash out is always the issue. Because like conceptually that's really important, but also it's where a lot of the problems come from. So yeah, let's postpone that. Vacation policy. This is an idea I had because it's like every year I end up going to Canada and kind of like unplugging for like a while. And so I had this idea that the just an admin function to turn off trading. So trading is like it's almost like the market is closed for a while. It's not necessary, but it means that like, you know, these periods of there's less likely something's going to go wrong when I'm not around or I'm not checking email or whatever. It allows me to go off grid.
I feel like that's reasonable. I mean, it's a giant banner on this page, and then hiding all the forms.
You're not actually turning it off. You're just hiding it.
I mean, we could also actually turn it off by just like making all those whatever they post to just like reject it. That's pretty easy. That way, no one can like hack it. But would you be able to still make offers, just not transactions? Or no? But I guess not, right? Like everything's market's closed.
Not, yeah.
Well, but you can put in offers.
Yeah, that's true. And then they would allow that could happen. You know, again, we don't have automated, but yeah, maybe you could still put in. Ideally, you could still put in offers. I think the other time this would be interesting is to like say, you know, hey, we're going to make a big announcement at the shareholder summit.
All trading is closed until then.
Yeah, trading is closed until after the announcement. You know,
it's like the insider trading rules. Yeah.
Exactly. There's some fun things here, but like this is also not a like.
I mean, it doesn't. It's not a huge deal. I think we should do it.
Okay. All right. I'll add it.
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay, back to the list of suggestions. Oh yeah, you don't even have to click on end of year replay. Someone was just saying that they wanted similar to like
Spotify Wrapped.
Spotify or like how many What I like about this idea, actually, let's talk about it just really briefly. I like the idea that somewhere within the system, we're tracking like how many times have you voted and how active are you and things like that. But it creates a reason to log and track all of these things that I think that's why I'm like it's definitely for later. But it's an interesting idea.
It is interesting. Also, it kind of goes with that email digest idea.
That's true. I mean, I love the idea of seeing like how many times did you vote and get the vote that you wanted? Like how often were you kind of correct in your voting, or how often were you able to like vote the right way versus the wrong way? There's some interesting questions to ask of the system in that way. But yeah, let's skip down to real-time updates. Right now, you have to refresh the page manually, but you do get an alert comes up when you don't have the current. Like if I
Wait,
just because I have a monitor over here. Sorry, go ahead.
there's two different things. The alert happens on
Okay.
the trading page,
Yep.
but this is about voting.
Oh, this is about voting. You're right. Yep.
So these don't update automatically.
So
But we
okay,
could.
so if like a big shareholder comes in and makes a vote, and you're watching the page live, you'd have to refresh to see it.
Mm-hmm. And
is it easier to add that same kind of alert of like telling them to refresh the page, or is it?
no, in this case, it's actually easier to just reload that data. Basically, like this is all server side rendered right now, but it wouldn't be that big of a deal to just like every couple of seconds go fetch the latest results.
Should I go ahead and add that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. And then what's next?
Fred widget.
What is? I just noticed.
What is a Fred widget?
If you go to the, it's just this idea that you could have other financial information, that little widget on the side. If you imagine that next to, this is more like the start of an idea of like adding other economic data to the front page of KMikeyM.
Okay.
I think it's I would say it's more for fun. I've somehow stumbled on this and was like, wait, you just add this anywhere?
Oh, you can choose what goes into it.
Yeah.
It's cute. I mean, it's just like
it is.
It just copied this iframe code into it. Sure. Where does it go?
I feel like it goes
like a new column next to this.
Or does it go? Do we make the main image a little bit smaller and add it as a side column up there?
We could do that.
That's maybe too prominent.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think it's like, actually lengthening the number of old posts there on the side of updates is actually a good idea, because it's what, 1, 2, 3. It's only 5.
It's only 5, and there's no way to get to old ones either.
Yeah, there's no. Yeah, so having if we put a Fred widget on there and that lengthened that page, and then there was a couple other options. That's not a.
Can you change the shape of this?
Good question.
Let's see. It might just adapt to whatever you give it.
I like the live test.
Let's edit.
Let's just jam it in here.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's all the chart data. So what if we just say it's actually 100% wide? It does. Okay. That's pretty hilarious. That's pretty fun. So yeah, we could put it below this chart and then make this list longer.
Oh yeah. Yep. Great. All right. I'll add that note. Add below chart and extend the news items.
Okay.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, that is funny. Remove excess tracking tool.
This is something where
Oh yeah, that's right. There's a bunch of
over the years I've asked you to like add things, and I just noticed because I use various blockers that like some of that stuff is still in there. So I think it's just a matter of like I don't even remember what they all are, but just going through that and cleaning them out because none of them are active anymore. I don't really believe in any tracking.
intercom is down. Yeah, intercom is dead. Do you care about Google Analytics?
I think Google I still have. Yeah, I guess that's probably Google Analytics is probably the only one that matters.
That one doesn't even
log-
work right now, it looks like, anyway, because they keep changing all the code you're supposed to use for it. It's really
okay.
it's really a lot of it's
Yeah.
complicated.
Let's remove everything then. Let's
Okay.
remove all tracking. Even if it's in there, I don't look at it. Oh yeah, no, actually it says here's Google Analytics.
Is it working still?
Real time. Let me see what it says. There should be. It says there's 0 active users on the site right now.
Well, it's wrong because I'm on the
Oh yeah,
site.
there's a big alert up here at the top. Starting. This property will stop processing data. Migrate everything to Google Analytics. Oh yeah, no, there's one. I think it's just TrackView in Portland.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. Well, you know what? I literally never look at this. I don't care about it. Let's remove all tracking tools. Let's not track anybody.
Okay.
No one needs to be tracked.
Okay.
And then at some point, I'm going to ask you, hey, can you add this tracking tool? But for now, yeah. All right, I'll add that too. I feel like is that like an easy thing to remove? Is like going through that code and find. Okay.
Very easy.
I didn't know if that was like something that had to be done page by page in all the different sections, or
No, it should be pretty easy to find it.
Cool. Okay. What's next?
Email alert for new account. Isn't that a duplicate? Oh, email you when a new account's
for
created.
me. Yeah. Let's ignore that for now.
I mean, this kind of stuff isn't
'cause I think-
that hard. So, and the site already talks to Slack also to report trades. So either of those is easy.
Yep, I think a Slack message is better.
Private channel in Slack.
Yeah, it could even go into the. I guess it could go into the like activity one, but yeah, maybe it could be private.
That's easy.
Especially if we're already going to send them an email. Yeah, I think just a Slack alert. Yeah, let's do it that way.
Okay.
That's great.
Let's make a new channel private and call it like admin alerts.
Okay. I will say send. I'll change this to Slack alerts to admin channel when new account is created. Say Slack.
Yeah, that's not a big deal.
All right. Save. Okay. Notification of new comments.
This is for voting, right?
Yeah, this is for on the voting where, if you don't come back and check during the voting period, you don't see the answers.
I agree. This is a good one. So back to our question of actionable versus digest summaries. Would this be considered an actionable email? Yeah, should it really trigger? Because like it could overload.
Getting an alert for every single one of these is too much. And it probably is only if you've left a comment.
I think it's only if you leave a comment, not if you vote. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's part of Daily Digest. I don't think it's.
But at the same time, like some of these have come down to. Some of these have been pretty intense, right? Of like right at the last minute, last couple hours, these conversations are happening. People are trying to sway each other.
Is that when the notification comes in then? Is sort of like if you've cast a vote, even if you just cast a vote, letting you know that like.
Oh, actually, yeah, that's the other way to do it is to schedule notifications based on the vote time. So.
and then you could tell people that there's X number of votes. Like, you could say in that email, you could be like, here's, you voted for, enter your vote, whatever is currently winning, enter the current leader, and then say, there are, 22 comments on this vote that's ending in, 3 hours or whatever.
Yeah, so we could do like, I'm imagining like schedule these emails based on the deadline of the vote. So if the vote ends, so like a week before the vote ends, an email goes out to maybe everybody who's voted, right? And that email contains something. And then a day before
Yep.
the vote ends, another email goes out to maybe only people who've commented, right? And then 2 hours before the vote ends, anybody who's commented gets another email. An hour before everybody who's commented gets an email, right? You kind of escalate it towards the deadline, but it's not immediately in response to any user's actions. It's
Okay.
just sent to
So
a subset of users based on whatever we want to decide.
I'm going to say schedule announcements of votes based on participation in the vote and when the vote is ending as a recap, and then I'll leave the original comment in there.
Yeah, and what we can do with this is make it in a way that it's easy to change these timings and the number of emails and stuff, because it'll probably
Right.
need to be tweaked based on how
Yep.
how it
Design,
goes.
so we make changes and tweak numbers. Interesting thought here too is if there are votes with no end dates, how
Yeah.
to deal with those comments as well. So that's interesting.
Yeah, votes with no end dates. I would imagine. So wait, do we have a list of all the things that we're going to go into the like digest email already? We need to make that
Not
list
yet.
because I feel like if we're talking about doing a, I don't even know what interval we said. What interval did we say? Daily or
We said daily, but it's kind of like, let's just not define it yet and see what all is in there, and then see how actionable it has to be.
I would imagine that the ongoing votes, information about those get inserted into whatever sort of larger digest we're doing.
Yep. And it's unsubscribable too, right? So it's not like, anyone's like, I don't need a
Right.
daily email from KMikeM. Fine. Like, yeah.
Actually, that's another way to do it is have people be able to choose their interval.
Frequency.
Do you want a monthly digest? Do you want a weekly digest? Do you want a daily digest? And then we just grab whatever information is relevant for those three intervals. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I would think that the daily wouldn't literally send every day. It would only send it to someone if there's been relevant activity to
Right.
them for that day.
Yep.
Oof, this is getting complicated.
We'll make sure we'll implement the simplest version first. I'm gonna move notification for vote ending with just a couple of those notes to in progress, and and I made some notes about the list of digest emails to get back into. So we'll look at that before we start implementing it. Oh yeah, and then here the bottom one. This is my favorite.
What does this mean?
This just means a simple site where you can say, hey, do you want to like put one share in and maybe get 2 shares out, or maybe 0 shares out? That's the simplest version, It's just a simple way to gamble for new shares.
Is it like a slot machine?
I think in its simplest version, yeah, it's as simple as a little slot machine. It has payouts that are known, like roll the dice, see what happens.
Where do the shares come from for the payouts? Your large pool?
Yeah, it comes from my large pool.
What
And it's because it's not one for one, it's a way for some people to like, double up on their shares, but over time, it's almost like a kind of fucked up buyback program. It should raise the value of the shares because it's pulling shares out of users' hands.
So what?
So those shares become more valuable.
How do you want to rig the machine? Because all slot machines are rigged with some probability, right? So
Yeah, exactly. That's the question. Is like, what's the right number? What are the payouts?
Is it always put in one? Always you put in one share, or can you put in more than one?
Oh,
share?
I think you can put in as many as you want. Yeah.
And it's a multiplier payout.
Yeah, it's probably just like double, double or nothing kind of thing. You either get twice as many shares or you get 0. And you just roll the dice and you just see what happens.
It's terrible, but I like it.
I'll put it in planned and not in progress. This will be like the bonus one if we get to it. Because I also think there's some really fun design aspects with this one
Yeah.
as well.
A lot of art has to go into this. Would this be like a separate website?
Oh, maybe like casino.kmikem.com.
Uh-huh.
Because I could definitely see this being very fun and more elaborate. You could do a whole as we build our whole casino operation into digital horse racing and other kinds of games.
Right. I mean, yeah, betting on a little virtual horse race sounds hilarious.
Yeah, all right, I'm gonna just add this to. I'm gonna add this to plan. We'll see. Okay. We'll see. This is the lowest priority feature, but I just think it's a great way if you're just like I kind of want out, but maybe I can double up.
Yeah.
Roll the dice, see what happens. Okay, so that leaves only 5 items and suggestions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in Mikey likes it. A handful in planned, and what do we have in progress? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Oof.
10.
That's a long
12.
list.
That's a long list. Yeah, some of those are small, some of those are big, but I feel like that's an ambitious list. It's longer than I thought it was going to be. So.
Do I have an account on this?
I think you do. Yeah, you must have because you've left comments.
Oh, right. Do I have admin privileges on that account? So I can check these things off.
Yeah, let me see. Manage account. Teams. Yeah.
Here's my login link.
Ooh, how do you add members? Oh, here we go, members. Oh, yeah. You are a team member.
Okay, so I can, I can rearrange them.
Yeah. Okay, great.
And marking it as done is moving it to completed, right?
What's that?
To mark it done, I move it into completed?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay, cool. So then in this case, I think the next thing to do is for me to prioritize the in progress ones based on either like infrastructure stuff that we just have to do or how easy it is. So
yeah, is that 8.1 the PHP update kind of the most like
how many of these affect the voting site actually? Now that I'm thinking about it. Notification for vote ending, and this one. This is going to go on the top because. Oh, can I not rearrange it? Wait.
Oh, maybe. What if you vote it up?
Is it ordering them by?
It might just be ordering by vote. I don't know if I can change that.
Oh. Okay, yeah, there's no order except upvotes. Darn.
All Or here, I can vote for them too to help bring them up
Okay.
higher.
So we need people to help us prioritize these, I guess. No, so darn, I thought I could just rearrange them. I should be able to.
It does seem like that with the little drag and drop guy, but
Yeah.
oh, but you can just drag him to different tasks. I see.
Um, maybe I can make another category for these are not in
Oh yeah,
progress. These are like
these are build week.
it's the
These
stage
are
beyond planned. What's in planned?
yeah.
These are like
Plan.
accepted. The planned list is actually the accepted list,
Okay,
right?
let me change plans to accepted. I can change this, right? Edit. Oh, I can't change the name of it.
What, really?
There's some limitation. Manage account. Where do I change my task listings?
Are those hard-coded categories?
No, because I changed.
Oh yeah,
Mikey
Mikey
likes
likes
it.
it.
Edit your teams. It's just I haven't used this for very much since.
Oh, here's a manage web link. No. Aha, here it is.
Oh, you found it. Okay.
Oh, they do have their own internal meanings for these. So
Oh, so I just renamed mine. I just renamed one to Mikey Likes It.
yeah. Okay, so let's rename. Let's see, planned. Let's rename planned to accepted.
Okay.
And then we'll rename in progress to planned, because that's basically what we just did, right? Anything we put in progress was the stuff that is actually going to be done. This
right.
And then we need a new one, which is actual in progress, which is for now as I'm actually working on it.
Got it.
I have a couple of suggestions for this product. This. Okay, now how do we? So now what I can do is
now you can drag them to the side column. So
oh, these are out of order because they have this fixed idea about, yeah, these colors determine the order of the lists. So okay, let me go back and actually move.
Oh, I see.
Yep. I want to move planned into to be a planned category. Did that not work? Oh, it's a save button. Okay, this is what I want.
Yep.
So accepted is the things that we've agreed but are maybe lower priority. The planned list is things we're going to do this week. In progress is when I'm actually working on it. So now, or actually no, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use in progress as the priority list for me.
Right. What you're going to work on first.
Yeah. So this, fix that.
Just,
Fix, this one is easy, so we'll do that now. And then I should spend some time on doing this upgrade. Oh, and disabling. So the not fun stuff first.
Yep.
And then, so what I'll do is I'll go through this list, work on these until they're done, and then go back to planned and grab more things.
Great. And I'll go through planned and just see if there's stuff where I can like define the use cases and think about the kind of the emails and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'll have the structure for the email, but I'm not going to write the text for it, obviously.
Yep. Great.
I think vacation policy is an easy one too, so I might do that pretty early on. Cool.
All right. That's exciting stuff. All right. Man, kicking off build week. Here we go.
Yeah.
Do you want to, we'll just we'll just be on Slack or whatever, check in. We'll just keep things on the project development Slack channel if anyone wants to join that. And that's where we'll kind of keep things updated.
Yep.
In fact, I'll pin a link to this change map in the
Yeah, good idea.
project development. I always forget about pinned.
Yeah.
No. There we go. Okay. I'm just going to call this features. Nice. Okay. That's pinned in Slack. Anyone can join. And yeah, let me know if you need anything.
Cool.
And, I'll probably spend a little bit too much time thinking about a casino today.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds good. So I guess
yeah, and then in my email I was saying maybe we'll do a demo at the end of build week and just like walk through the different changes that we've made. So if you think about it, maybe grab screenshots so we could do like a before and after of what we changed. We can highlight those.
Good idea.
Okay. Just drop them in Slack and then we can go back and look at them.
Yeah, I can just drop. That's a good idea. Just drop stuff in Slack as we go, and maybe we even report back midweek.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night.
Yeah, happy to. Yeah. Yeah, could be daily.
Yeah.
Daily updates. Great. Exciting stuff. Talk to you ongoing in Slack. Gonna end the stream.
Okay. Join us in Slack. Bye.
We're still on even though it's over?
Yeah. 1 second. There we go.